introduction. My name is Anne Biehl. I work at RIGK since, let's say, the German part 9 years and the Chilean part 5 years before that. So I already worked nearly 10 years at RIGK in the development of EPR systems, especially of EPR systems in the agricultural sector. And I think now you can see the presentation. Perfect. Okay. So then
Yes,
I will give an insight on the collection and recycling of agricultural plastics that we operate in Germany and Switzerland. No, it's not moving. Here we go. So shortly on RIGK and the EPR systems we have, then I will give an introduction on ERDE Germany, what Gabi Hack already mentioned, the system of collection, and also ERDE Switzerland, and an example of the recycling of LDPE agricultural films. So RIGK was founded in 1992 with the German decree for packaging, where we had to start systems to take back packaging in Germany, divided in the household packaging and also the industrial packaging. And we were founded by the industry, so we founded the first system, EPR system, for the take back of industrial packaging here in Germany. We have nearly 100 employees Europe-wide by now. We have some daughter companies, Hannawald, Plastship, RIGK Romania, and the newest is Pack Lions, who's doing advisory on the PPWR, big topic in Europe right now. We manage a take-back systems in Germany, and we have a take-back system in Switzerland. And we also do consultancy projects in the development of EPR schemes worldwide. At the moment, we are developing also an EPR scheme on agricultural plastics in the Netherlands and are also involved in Belgium. So I'm really happy about your project, and it sounds really interesting. And I will be happy to hear more about this in the ongoings of this project. So the industrial systems we have is, as I said, the industrial take-back system for industrial packaging, then also for industrial packaging for hazardous substances. We have a pickup system, which is more of a service to pick up this end-of-life packaging at the customer. And we have a certification department, which certifies recycled content under the RIGK scheme. And now we're coming closer to the agricultural part. We have the Pamira system, which is since 96 taking back packaging of crop protection products. Also of the part of the system is the Beizer system, which is taking back the packaging for seed dressing packaging. The Verena system is handling all kind of other agricultural packaging, which means big bags or FIBCs and seed sacks and all these kind of packaging. Then we have a pre-service, which is taking back end-of-life agricultural chemicals, or let's say chemicals out of use, sometimes stored in the farm. So we offer a service that they can be taken back also. And then the system that I will talk about today is the ERDE, who is taking back and recovering agricultural plastics in Germany and Switzerland. This is non-packaging plastics. So this is where we do the division between packaging, because there's a law for taking back packaging in Germany, and the non-packaging plastics. There is no regulatory basis as for now. So this is a voluntary system. A short notice on Pamira, because we are taking back, we are recycling actually 92% of the collected packaging. And this is, let's say, the highest rate in Germany for an EPR system. And now directly to the ERDE Germany system. As I said, the ERDE system is a voluntary approach that was founded by the agroplastics industry in 2013. It is implemented under the principle of shared responsibility of the producers in all the value chain until the farmer. It's a partial cost system. including the whole value chain, meaning that there is the manufacturers that pay an eco fee, but also at the end of the chain, the farmer still pays a little bit for the collection, let's say, where he brings the materials. This is basically because there's no law and because this way there's a shared responsibility in all the value chain. And this way it is possible to have this kind of systems. There is also commitment in between the manufacturer and the farmer of the agricultural cooperatives, wholesalers and contractors that serve as, for example, collection points, or they are included in other ways in the system. It is also supported by the Farmers Association, even so the Farmers Association is not part of it, and I will come to that in the next slide, but they are very supportive towards the system. We have a voluntary self-commitment with the German government, where we set goals, and also we put in fractions that we will include in the system in the coming years. So the German government is also very fond of the system and the voluntary commitment that we get from the manufacturers. And the system is operated by the RIGK. These are the about 28 different manufacturers that are part of the system right now. And we have grown into 10 different fractions or types of products by now, which I will get into on the next slides. So today we have 10 fractions that we are collecting in the system, and we started off especially with the feed conversation, silage films, silage tubes, stretch films, and baler nets and baler twines. And you can see always on the pictures here a little bit also on not only the usage, but also how to collect them, or like how we collect them in containers and separated. That's really important. So we also included early harvest plastics as asparagus film, perforated film, and non-wovens, mulching film, greenhouse film, and drip tapes. And we saw in the presentation of Gabi that also some of these are made in biodegradable films or biodegradable plastics. And it is really important to take these two plastics apart from each other. They cannot be mixed because the biodegradable films should not end up in recycling because it disturbs the quality of the outcome of the recycling. So it is, for us, it's really important that there is a lot of studies on the biodegradable film, also in the usage, and it is a film that we are not collecting in the ERDE system. A bit about our collection points. We have collection points in Germany that has grown until the number of 700. You can see here on the maps a bit of how they're distributed. And these are collection points where the farmers bring the materials. Some are all year round, and some, let's say, for example, a collection point at a disposal company. And some are campaigns where, for example, some cooperative puts up a campaign of collection, and then the farmers can come on this certain day and bring the agricultural plastics. And on the right side, you see that we also have mobile collections that are done from our collection partners, and how they're distributed in Germany. And of these mobile collections, we have around 3,500 in the year 2025, growing numbers, as you see. And I won't bore you with all the numbers of the collection, but this is our main fraction, let's say. It's the silage and stretch film. As Gabi also said, it's the main fraction of film, the film use in agriculture. And we collected last year 34,000, nearly 700 tons and this is all the collection amount is going to 100% material recycling, and the slight decrease is absolutely in line with what was put on the market. So you see there was much less volumes put on the market in Germany in 25, and of course then you collect less, and you can always see this directly connected. Here on the right side, also the picture, you can see a bit on how the collection is going on. There's the containers, the farmers come with their tractors, and most of them go over a weight, what's it called, this weight, yeah. And so then they can give the plastics to the certain fractions. We also always calculate our CO2 savings for the 37,000 tons that were recycled. We have 37,000 tons of CO2 savings, which is nearly 2.7 million trees, what they could bind in a year. And this we do with the Fraunhofer Institute. And we also give out kind of like certificates or a diploma where it says how much you saved as a collection partner. So now a short view into ERDE Switzerland. That was established in 21, so already 4 years. We have less fractions here because we just started, and we always incorporate fractions from time to time. There's silage film, stretch film, baled twine, and bale nets as different fractions right now. And this is also a voluntary system. There's also no legal relations in place in Switzerland, but the Ministry of Environment supports the system. It is quite set up quite similar to ERDE in Germany, which is also a lot of synergies that we can use there. It's also a partial cost system with the shared responsibility of all the stakeholders. In comparison to the German system, where in the German system, there is only the manufacturers part of the system, or members of the system, let's say. Here, we opened a little bit because there is no local manufacturer in Switzerland. So we opened the members to, well, the 10 manufacturers on the market, the 4 biggest distributors who are really proactive, the Contractors Association, the largest Swiss recycler, and also the Farmers Association joined us after 3 years because they saw that it's a good thing. So now they're really supportive and doing a lot of the marketing also. We also are the system operator here, and the trustees the same. So this is where the synergies really cut in. In our 4th period, we've collected 2,650 tons of agricultural plastics, of which 2,500 tons was recycled. This is because for some of, especially the nets, there is no, let's say, economically viable way of recycling the nets. There's a lot of investigation, but it is economical, not feasible right now to collect the nets and send them to recycling. But from the start, the collection volumes rose on 47%. And also here, all the silage film and stretch film is going to material recycling. And you see a map of Switzerland with all the collection points that we have right now. So now I will go give you some input or like some pictures on recycling of agricultural plastics. The material, as you might know, is a monomaterial, a single material, most of the plastics, which means there's only one polymer in the product. And this would actually mean that it would be ideal for the recycling. So what's the challenge of recycling these materials? And you see some examples on the right side. Also, well, the biggest challenge is the rests from the usage, and this means like the impurities of soil or organic material, a lot of humidity also. And then sometimes the size of plastics is complicated. As you know, asparagus films are really long, they're rolled up into bales. This is also, first of all, it's complicated in baling if you want to transport them far away, and also in the processing in the recycling plant. Then there's also mechanical challenges of shredding in the process of yarns, nets, and non-woven fabrics. Sometimes, as you know, like the nets, they can go around the Welle, I don't know what in the mechanics, and they might be hard to pick. So this is also a mechanical challenge. There's a lot of investigation on this, and we're getting better every year. So most of these plastics need a multi-stage process to separate these impurities of soil and organic material from the films or the plastic. And I will give you some pictures of the recycling of LDPE agricultural film. For those who never seen this, might be a little bit shocking. It's a recycling plant. I'm really used to these kind of pictures. So this is from one of our partners who we recycling with in Europe. We are recycling in Europe with certified recycling plants. And the first process, if after collection, so after a container of sorted agricultural plastics comes into the recycling plant, is the first step is pre-shredding, where we reduce the size to, let's say, 15 to 20, 10 to 20 centimeter pieces. And as you see, that it's long and big parts of plastic, so it's always needed big machinery to do this. Then there's a pre-washing step, which will remove sand and stones, and the foam comes from the organic material which is left in the plastics. Then we have a secondary grinding where we reduce the size even more by a cutting mill. And then there's a material separation, so the removal of smaller parts of organic impurities in a float sink process. The plastic parts swim on the top and all the other material sinks to the ground and is separated in that way. Then there is a mechanical drying, mechanical or thermal drying process, which could be a press or with heat. The little plastic fluff is being dried, and then it is put into extrusion, into an extruder. This is melting the plastics. Then there's a degassing and filtration process, and then it can be pelletized. And this, what you see there, is plastic regranulates from agroplastics. And then the last step would be homogenization or mixing of the regranulates batches and storage in silos or big bags. And the last step, and this is where we come to the circular economy, is to the reuse in new products and in the best case, even in agricultural plastics. So yes, thank you very much. I'm open to some questions, and I hope I gave you a little bit of an insight on how we can work the agricultural plastics here in Germany.
Thank you so much, Anne Biehl. That was really exciting and a very broad overview we get for the whole process. And we got also some questions, so maybe we might ask them directly to you. In the chat, we have a question where is if you can mix it, or like if you separate collection. I have let me see, I have now did you catch it?
The ERDE can collect white and colored spectrums together.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a really good question. So as you might know, the best separation, or the cheapest, let's say, for the system and for going to good material is the separation in origin. Let's say that already the farmer or the collection point separates all the fractions. So the fractions, the plastic polymers have to be separated. That is really clear. The color separation would also be a really good thing to do this directly from the farmer to the collection point. For now, we have seen that still the financial feasibility, let's say, of doing this and doing also a separate transport is not yet there. But we're talking about this a lot with the manufacturers, because obviously there's a lot of white films that we see, and if you want to have a white regranulate, then you have to start separating the white from the darker or the color films to have this quality. And in some areas, it's interesting because obviously the manufacturers do different colors, and some are more strong in this area or that area or whatever. And you can find that in some areas there's a lot of usage of white material. So there, where there's really, really a lot of white material, there it would make sense to maybe take out some of the colored plastics, but it has to come also from the market. So to make the system effective, this has to go also with the demand of this white quality from the recycler. So let's say that you need a recycler that also does this quality. And I know that in Sweden and in the Scandinavian countries, there's a lot of white film. So there definitely it does make a lot of sense that you keep this white quality apart from the colored qualities. But we have a big mix most of the times. But it would make it will be discussed more and more in the future. I know that this is a big topic.
In Norway, we have Trioplast, which has 30% recycled plastic, and that used for boiling. So what is the highest percentage of recycled plastic in your plastic products, in your recycled plastic products?
Oh, that's up to, I think there's two things. One is the technical possibility, and I think there was films was up to 60-80% of recycled content already. So mechanically that is possible. Also quality-wise, this is possible. In the last year, we saw that this is more a question of, let's say, cheap virgin versus not so cheap regranulates. So even if you think that recyclates would always be the cheaper option on the market, we have seen, well, now with the Iran wall, this has changed a lot again, but the market has been really overflown by virgin plastics in the last year, cheaper virgin plastics. So obviously, if you want to be on the market and competing on the market, then it's a lot about your primary materials that you use. But technically, it's really no problem. And also quality-wise, we have seen films with really high recycled content percentages with no quality decrease. Interesting. If there are no more other questions from our participants here, I have one question left. You are speaking about the shared responsibility among different shareholders. How's this defined? What does it mean? And how compulsory is it if some stakeholders maybe are not that active in taking responsibility? Can you say something about this term? Well, we say that it's shared responsibility because we do include the manufacturers as the ones that are putting the material on the market. We are in contact with all or with most of the cooperatives. And as you've seen, they are the ones that are being our collective partners. So they're collecting, they have these collection points on their premises, and they offer this as a service to their clients, not only the cooperatives, but also there's farmers, there's contractors, there's disposal companies, and other actors on the chain of the agroplastics that are actually, they have a contract of collection partners with us. And they do this for different reasons, but most of them, there's also the point of service to their clients. So if, for example, if you are a trader of agroplastics, then you would sell the agroplastics, and you could also give, as a collection partner, the possibilities to your clients to take these plastics back. And that is the responsibility, let's say, that they take on. And the farmers, obviously, they also take on a lot of responsibility because they're doing a pre-cleaning, let's say, because we do have acceptance conditions. So the films have to be pre-cleaned, and somehow, I'm not saying that they have to wash them, but like get out impurities. There's no foreign materials. They should be sorted by fraction. And all this is already done by the farmer, which is also a great responsibility, and where we see that there's a lot of effort done by the farmers. And then they bring it separately and pre-cleaned to the collection points. I'm not sure if so maybe one sentence to the costs, the share, or let's say what we do, partial cost system. There is full cost systems, as for example, we see in France, where the farmers can actually give back all the materials for free on the collection points. But this means that the whole financing of this system also has to be done, in the case of France, from the manufacturers. So the eco fee, let's say the fee that the manufacturers pay on the tonnage of put on market plastics is much higher than in the ERDE system, a lot higher. And so we managed to have really low eco fees, as we call them. And we are still really efficient in the collection and in the recycling, because from this financing, we also give out incentives to the collection partners. So they are being incentivized for all the work they do. So this is also lowering the prices that the farmer has to pay. Say the farmer has only one alternative in Germany, which is disposal for incineration, and this is really high cost in Germany. So we get prices for the ERDE return system, which are up to 30-40% lower than the incineration prices. So this is an incentive for the farmer to clean them, because obviously if he doesn't clean the material, then we cannot accept it, and then he has to pay the higher prices for the incineration at an incineration plant, or he could clean them and come to a ERDE collection point. So this is how the shared responsibility and shared cost is also working on the system.
There's one last question from Nora from Finland. She represents the farmers organization, and she's asking, like, big sack for fertilizers or canisters. I guess it's about the cleaning and the collecting of these ones.
Yeah, the big bags of fertilizers. This counts as packaging, and it's industrial. Let's say it's agriculture packaging, and this goes into the Verena system. It's actually, if you think about this, the Verena system is only for the packaging, and the ERDE system is for the non-packaging. What we do is we use both. We use the same collection points a lot of times. So the farmer comes with whatever non-packaging plastics he has, and then also with the packaging plastics, and he can give it back on the same collection point, separated and by fraction, etc. But that works. And for fertilizers, or let's say crop protection, this needs to be looked at in detail. If it's liquid fertilizers, then it is the Permira system, where you have to rinse the containers and so on. And if it's the other one, then it has to be emptied. There is also acceptance conditions for the Verena system. You can also always see them on the website that we have. There's all the systems are on our website with their own conditions, acceptance conditions, and so on. And they have to be emptied so that there is no product rests in the big bags. But then they can be taken back from the Verena system.
Okay.
And I saw another, if we collect the packaged plastics at the farm, no, it's a bring system, but we have a really, as you've seen, we have a really close net of bring stations, or collection points, as we call them. And so normally the farmer doesn't have to go further than 25, 50 kilometers. So that's, I know that's maybe a challenge in Norway also.
Sometimes you have to drive 20 kilometers to get to the next farm, and even further to the next village.
But this is a thing that the farmer collects the amount that he has, and then he brings it back in a bulk or in a volume.
Yeah, in Norway we have the system that if you rent it on your farm and you have a compactor, you press it to balls, then it gets collected by Felleskjøpet, which is like Raiffeisen in Germany, and they collect it for free if they have their empty lorries going around anyway. And then you can in advance announce that you have some pickup on your farms, and then they pick it up. But this is not everywhere practice so far. So we have also some mobile stations, and we have also places farmers can drive to deliver. They pay a fee to Punkt, which just covers that it gets received but not collected. So the collection part is the problematic part, because then it's laying very long time outside of the farms, or it's so costly that it's not worth doing it. And so the different places it's managed voluntary, and some places not.
Yeah, but here you can see this is because we also have the mobile collections, but that's not that. It's not offered by ERDE, but most of this is the collection partners that offer this, and and then the collection gets also paid directly to the collection partner. So this is from the ERDE side. We do not organize these mobile collection with a truck or something like this, but they are our collection partners. They sometimes offer this for certain amounts. Then they do these rounds. Or for example, the machinery rings, they also do rounds where they collect for their own clients. So this is it's just that it's not organized directly from the ERDE system, but from our network.
Wow. Very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gabi Hag, for the introduction with these biodegradable plastics. It has definitely to be worked on that topic in Norway to make it work and more attractive. We see also here some suggestions that the county governor, which we present, should give some extra subsidies in order to make it more affordable to use biodegradable plastics for some plastic bags. And maybe we finish here. So if you want, you can answer some more questions in the chat also after the meeting is finished. Anne Biehl and Gabi Hag, if you want to do that. Thank you so much. It was really interesting, and it shows like how it works in other countries, and with this shared responsibility. Just the term is already inspiring. So we will take this with us.